Alrighty, everyone, welcome to the AMA Rogue Energy Xfinity Series here tonight, Charlotte Motor Speedway, as we get ready to go racing here tonight. So ready to go. Working our way through. So everybody hanging on, getting up to speed here. So now everybody getting up to speed, ready to go. All right. Some nice work here as we get up to speed. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Qualifying underway right now. Garrett Austin on top of the board. So Austin on top of the chart right now. So right now, everybody working their way through. Harley Day right there, good qualifying job for Harley. So right now, everybody getting up to speed. Nice work here. Again, thank you everybody for coming out here tonight. So again, less than 2 minutes remaining before we get ready to roll. Kendall Paul right now, second on the board in qualifying here tonight. There is Kendall Paul. Kirby, top of the board. Hodgins. So again, right now, Kirby, Hodgins, Colton yesterday there as well. All right. There is Hodgins there as well. Gunwoody on top of the board. Beautiful looking car for David. There we go. So now David on top of the board here. So Dunwoody on top of the board. So we're gonna get ready to grid up here. Let's do something special here tonight. We will go down and grab Mr. John Hooches. All right. Hey, John, you got a copy on it, man? You got me there, John? You got me, buddy? You got me there, John, man?
I've got you, Matt.
Alrighty, man. Well, we're going to do something special whenever you're ready, my man.
Gentlemen, will you bow with me? Lord Heavenly Father, your word tells us to give thanks for all things. So, Lord, we thank you for those men and women who have given their life for the freedoms that we have. We thank you for those servicemen that are serving today. We thank you for the men and women here at home that are on the front lines. We also thank you, Lord, that we're able to come together and then participate in an event that we all love so much. So today we thank you. We thank you for your Son who gave his life so we may have salvation. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Now, I got a question for you before I let you go. What's it going to take to get that car up front, John?
Man, I think it just takes patience. We're just going to be patient. You can really abuse the tires here if you're not careful. So we're just going to, stay patient. See what the track gives us.
Alrighty, man. Best of luck to you tonight, man.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, we are ready to go. John, gonna go back down. We're gonna get ready to roll. Again, 200 laps here tonight is tonight's race distance. Ready to go. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Ready to rock and roll here tonight for tonight's broadcast. Again, John, ready to rock and roll. So, ready to go green. All right. John, Stephen, ready to go. So ready to go racing here. David Dunwoody on the pole as we get ready to roll 200 laps, 300 miles tonight. So here we go. John, Kirby on the front row, ready to roll. Here we go. Xfinity time here tonight. Brought to you by Rogue Energy. John Hooch is right there as well. Everybody up to speed. Let's roll. Nice job, everybody up through the gears. Nice work. Hooch is right there, jumping in line early on. That's going to be the plan. Get down, get in line. Garrett Hurley. Stephen. John. David. Stephen, Kendall. John. In line. 2 by 2. Colton, Austin, Hodgins, Edward, Kirk, Dunwoody continuing to lead. Dunwoody continuing to hang on. Kendall, John, Harley Day, James Hodgins, Garrett Austin, Dunwoody out front. Stephen Kirby, Kendall Paul right there. Here comes John, who just trying to play a factor as well. Harley hanging on. Brian, Kurt, Sean, Jason, Harley Day continuing to hang on. So again, Day 15, 5 position. Dunwoody and Steven. Dunwoody. Dunwoody, Steven, Kendall, John, Harley, Kurt, Grant, Garrett, Brian, James, Edward. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Paul, right there in line. Who's just trying to do what he can. John, Paul right there as well. Stephen hanging on also. Dunwoody hanging on. Dunwoody and Stephen 1 and 2, nose to tail. Paul in third. Garrett, Michael, Edward, Kurt right there in line. Up to 10th, good run. So again, 8 on the board this time by. Hodgins, David Dunwoody, Stephen Kirby right there as well. So 8 on the board this time by. Dunwoody continuing to lead right now. Dunwoody continuing to lead. John, Colt, Hooches, Kendall continuing to hang on as well. There's the Rogue Energy 78. Dunwoody up front as well. Here comes Stephen Kirby moving forward. Kendall Paul going to drop to third. John back there. Michael Kirk trying to move. Edward. Stacy. Jason. Mont. 14th. Dunwoody continuing to lead. So again, 10 of 200 complete this time by. $11 complete. David continuing to lead. Kendall Paul back there, one car a little slower. On the bottom, right here's the 27 of Edward. Michael Kirk there as well. Nice job. So everybody hanging tight. So 12 complete. John David Dunwoody right there in line. 13 on the board. And Kendall, John, Colton. There's James Hodgins there as well. Stephen. David Dunwoody right there in line. Here we go. Big run coming behind him. You see him tightening up to the back bumper. Dunwoody trying to hang on. Here we go. Stephen now on the bottom. So single file up front. Kendall. Brian. Harley there as well. Brian Sharp right there as well. Dunwoody James. Brian Harley. Michael Kirk there as well. Edward Stacy holding on. Colton continuing to lead. Now Colton the fifth got in the wall. Dunwoody continuing to lead this thing. Nice work. Stephen Kendall there as well. Stephen David continuing to lead. Stephen. Nice jump. Nice and tight. 1/10. Kendall to third. Kirby Dunwoody right there as well. Stephen Kirby continuing to hang on. Nice run to second for Kirby. Kirby nice and tight. Dunwoody continuing to hang tight. Stephen there as well. James. Brian there as well. Garrett Kirk, Harley Day. Day in line as well. Brian continuing to lead. Or Brian to seventh, excuse me. Dunwoody leading. Kirby right there as well. Edward, Kirk, Austin, Brian. Taking a look here, Stephen. Stephen up top. The double zero. Dunwoody. Kirby. Kirby right there up top. John. Here comes Colton as well, moving forward. Brian Sharp trying to figure out his way through early in this one. You know, Stacy and Harley Day. So nice work right now. John continuing to lead Colton. Here comes James Hodgins. Grant there as well. Kirk, Hunter. Here comes Harley as well. Edward clear. Nice job. So continuing to hang on and work their way through. 23 on the board. So right now, everybody hanging tight. Up front, Dunwoody continuing to lead. Nice job. Stephen, Kendall, John, Colton, Brian there as well. David Dunwoody continuing to lead the way. Stephen there behind him. So right now, nose to tail. 25 on the board. Dunwoody continuing to lead the way. Look here. Kirby and Paul right behind him. Nice jump. Kendall to second. Paul. And caution on the racetrack. Let's take a look. Take a look. I just got in a wall. So Dunwoody leads. 28 on the board. Yellow flag is out. Kendall Paul, second right now. Let's take a word with Paul.
You're in the chat.
Hey, Kendall, you got me real quick, bud?
You got your mouth going on.
All right, P2 right now, man. Pretty good run.
Yeah, the 78 Rogue Energy Memorial Day cars performing pretty well. Actually, just getting to be really happy with it now. Later in the run.
Yeah, that's one of them things. The later the run it goes, the better off you are.
Yeah, and I mean, now I got somebody right in front of me that I trust and that I know very well. So hopefully, me and him can run away with it and put it down just me and him down for the stage. But got a little bit of ways to go to the stage and got a little bit of ways to go to the race. So just gathering notes here in stage 1 and stage 2 for the long haul in stage 3.
There you go, man. Best of luck.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, that's Kendall Paul, everybody, sitting second right now. Of course, the person he trusts right in front of him, David Dunwoody. Those two nose to tail up front. There we go. So again, Dunwoody. So Dunwoody continuing to lead. Paul second. Lights are off. John, James, right there as well. Kendall, David, James, Dunwoody, Wheats. Paul, so again, lights are off. 30 on the board of 200. We'll get ready to go back to green here momentarily. So ready to go. So coming to green this time. So ready to go. So again, Dunwoody leads. Paul. So ready to go. Dunwoody leads. Dunwoody leads. Ready to go. Green flag is in the air. Back underway. Under green here, 31 on the board. Dunwoody leading. Nice job. Jason. Steven right there as well. Nice job. 32 on the board. Dunwoody and yellow back out. Trouble behind them. Jason Sutherland. Take a look. Oh. Just lost the back of the car. Smacked it. So Dunwoody leads. John. $34 on the board. So Dunwoody continuing to lead here. Still very early on. Dunwoody. Dunwoody leads. Kendall, John there as well. So lights are off on the pace car. So Dunwoody continuing to lead. So again, 34 on the board. Kendall Paul ready to go. John Hooches. David Dunwoody leads. Kendall Paul second. John, Stephen, James right there as well. It'll be Dunwoody leading here. Hooches, Stephen, ready to go. Yet again. So again, it'll be David Dunwoody. It'll bring us to green here momentarily. So again, looking for a restart. So Dunwoody leads. So Dunwoody will lead. Dunwoody and Paul. 2 by 2. Dunwoody. Kendall Paul there as well. Paul, John, ready to go. David Dunwoody up front, ready to go. So Dunwoody leads. Paul, John there as well. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Let's go. Dunwoody continuing to lead. There comes the 88 as well. Hodgins underneath trying to slide through Harley Day. Right there as well. So everybody 2 by 2 once again down the back. On board with Harley. Nice job. John continuing to hang on. Nice work. Side by side. 38 on the board. Harley Day hanging tight as well. So 38 on the board. Paul Kirby. And problems. It is Paul. Oh. Take a look. Take a look here. 3 wide goes wrong. Paul ends up completely sideways. The 00 gets lucky at Paul got that car turned back the opposite direction. Could have been much worse. Paul slide to a stop. And oh no, Paul's car blown up. Wow, I thought he was going to be okay. Let's take a look. Comes around. Got the wall. I thought everybody had cleared him, but that little bit of impact is going to be enough to end Paul's night. Down to pit road. Paul's night going to come to a close here at lap 40. So pit road, damaged car and all. So Paul going to come down, put tires and fuel on the car. Wow. So again, David. Colton. Harley. David. David leads. Colton. Steven. David leading. Colton. So Dunwoody. Dunwoody leads here tonight. Dunwoody. Hurley. Dunwoody leads. Dunwoody. So again, Dunwoody will lead. Lights will go off. Dunwoody. Dunwoody. Colton. Dunwoody leads. Dunwoody leads, ready to go. So Dunwoody will lead the restart. So Dunwoody leads. Lights are all ready to go. So Dunwoody leads. David will lead for the restart here in just a moment. Harley, Stephen. Dunwoody. So double foul ready to go. David Colton there as well. Coming. Lights will go off in a moment. So again, Dunwoody. Colton there as well. So ready to go. So Dunwoody will lead them for the restart. $50 on the board. So Dunwoody, Colton, Harley. Shout. Braun. Dunwoody. Dunwoody, Colton. Dunwoody, Colton. Steven, everybody down pit road, 47 on the board. So we'll be right back here in a moment. All right, green flag is out, ready to go. Stacy continuing to hang tight alongside Colton. Here we go, 3 wide. Watch out. Older tires on the car, not going to be good. So 50 on the board. Colton. Colton. Dunwoody right there as well. 150 to go tonight. Dunwoody all over the back bumper of yesterday. A little contact almost between the two. Harley, Stephen. Dunwoody there as well. Colton. Dunwoody. Oh, Colton, Dunwoody. Dunwoody now back out front. Yesterday to second. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Colton, Harley, Steve, Brian, John there as well. Michael Kirk along with them. John hanging tight also. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Colton, Stephen. 55 on the board. Dunwoody leads. Dunwoody, Stephen, Brian, Harley, John there as well. David Dunwoody hanging on out front. Colton, Stephen, Brian, Harley, Stacy, Edward there as well. Dunwoody. $58 on the board this time by. So right now, working their way through Dunwoody out front. 58 laps complete here tonight. Stephen Kirby back behind them. Harley Day back there as well. Stacy, Michael Kirk. Nice work. Nice job. 59 on the board. So 59 complete this time by. First 60 laps of this race. So we're working our way through again. 60 at 200 complete here tonight. Dunwoody there as well. Nice work. David Dunwoody. John, Stacy, Michael. Dunwoody continue to hang on. Colton, Brian, Harley. Right now, hanging tight. Nice job. Harley Day, Stephen, David there as well. There's the 00 Stephen also alongside. David right there hanging on. Colton, Harley. $64 on the board. David up front, continuing to lead over Stephen. Stephen up top. Colton, David continuing to lead right now. So 65 on the board this time by David Dunwoody, Stephen Kirby. Nice battle here on track for these two. Colton, Harley, there's Mel. Dunwoody continuing to lead. John, Harley, Michael, James, Stacy, Edward there as well. So Steve and Dunwoody still side by side. Steven up top as well. Dunwoody, Steven, 2 by 2. Nice job. $69 complete. Dunwoody continuing to work the bottom. So 2 by 2. Look at this great battle out front. Kirby and Dunwoody lap after freaking lap. 2 by 2. Neither one giving an inch. One high, one low, giving each other plenty of room, doing a great job making it work out front. Now working through side by side. Dunwoody there as well. Look at him giving room. $71 on the board. Kirby hanging on as well. Nice job. So right now, 2 by 2. Whoa. That could have been big, but they'll hang on. So again, Dunwoody can now out front leading. So nice job. Kirby, John, right there as well. 73 on the board. Colton, Brian. Dunwoody leads. Continuing to lead the way right now, it's Dunwoody. Edward, Sean. James there as well. So again, 76 on the board. James continuing to hang on into 7th. Harley Day to 8th here. Stacy Hunter back there. Edward there as well. John Hooches. David Dunwoody continuing to lead. Kirby to second. Hooches to third. Colton to fourth. Sharp to fifth. $78 on the board. David. Kirby. Oh! Dunwoody out of shape. Dunwoody completely out of shape. 78 on the board. $79 this time by. Dunwoody continuing to lead. So Dunwoody continuing to lead Stephen Kirby. John right there as well, Brian Sharp. 79.80 on the board here tonight, closing on halfway of this 300 miler. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Hooches, James, Michael Kirk. $81. So 82 this time by. Dunwoody. $82 on the board. Dunwoody. Dunwoody Kirby. $83 on the board of 200. All right, Dunwoody, Stephen. John, Brian. So Dunwoody continuing to lead. Nice jump. Stephen, John, Brian, Colton. There as well. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Woody over Steven right now. Brian Edward back there as well. Mont Edward there as well. Stacy Day update. Nice job for Day. David Dunwoody, though, continuing to lead at the moment. So again, closing down to the end of this one. John. Brian Sharp right there as well. 87 on the board. What a race so far tonight. 87 complete. Dunwoody continuing to lead. John Hooch is back there as well. Dunwoody continuing to lead. Dunwoody. Brian. Colton Harley Day. Dunwoody continuing to hang on. Stephen, Brian, John, David Dunwoody. Brian James. James. $90 on the board. Brian. Colton. Stephen. David Dunwoody there as well. Dunwoody. Caution is out. So yellow out once again. Trouble. Take a look. So Dunwoody. So ready to work their way through. Stephen. So again, 92 on the board. Here we go, everybody, to pit road. Dunwoody. So David. So again, David, Stephen, Brian, James. David Dunwoody will continue to lead here. Dave Woody. So Dunwoody. Steve in there as well. Dunwoody there as well. So 95 on the board. Dunwoody has had a heck of a run all night. Michael, Stacy, Dunwoody will work through. So again, as we get ready for a restart nearing halfway. Dunwoody ready to go once again. Dunwoody, Steven, ready to go. Green flag in the air. Dunwoody. Dunwoody continuing to lead. John, James, Brian, David there as well. Stephen, Brian, James. Here comes Dunwoody out front. Stephen there as well. Dunwoody continuing to hang on. James. John. Woody. Stephen. Brian. Woody. Woody, Stephen, Brian, and John Hooch is there as well. $99 on the board. Stephen Kirby. Brian Sharp there as well. Woody. Stephen. Right now, Woody on the bottom, Stephen up. So again, Stephen, nice job. Woody right now to second. Kirby gonna get clear. $101. Brian, Stephen. James, Woody. Colton, Michael Kirk there as well. John continuing to lead halfway, or John up to fourth, excuse me. Kirby continuing to lead. Woody right there as well. $102 on the board. Of 200 here as we're over halfway. So again, Stephen, David Dunwoody in second. 103 laps on the board. Woody, Stephen. Stephen there as well. David Dunwoody there as well. Dunwoody there as well. Dunwoody continue to lead. John Hooches. Brian James Hodgins there as well. Colton Harley. Dunwoody there as well. Stephen, James, Brian.
Hey man, how's it going? You want to go?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Kendall?
No, not too bad. Just taking out early, so figured come up here to the booth,
and hang
grab me a
out, huh?
water, and hang out. Yeah, sure, why not? I saw you up here all by yourself, so came up here to see what's going on.
Well, I tell you what, Dunwoody and Steven, they went at it for what, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I lost count amount of laps 2 by 2 for a while back there.
Yeah, they've been side by side for for a while. I mean, back in stage 2 and even stage 1, you saw them battling it out when I was out on the racetrack. They were battling it out, and it's been a really fun battle to watch. And I mean, it seems like out there, it's just depending on who gets loose and who gets to run off the exit. That's the big thing around here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But Dunwoody right now in the SKP Storm Tracker 78 Bully Dog Coffee combo car out into the race lead with Kirby right there behind him. Let's see if he can catch back up.
Man, I tell you what, Dunwoody's been on rails from the word go tonight. That car, hasn't really did anything out of shape, didn't wiggle. It's just been going. I think one time he may have got a little loose off of 2, but that was about it.
Yeah, that was the only time he was right off turn number 2, and been fastest in the practice session, fastest in the qualifying session, and he's showing it right now, fastest on the racetrack right now, and kind of starting to pull away from Kirby just a little bit right now. But you got Kirby right there behind him, and then you got John about 2 seconds behind behind the leader right now, just kind of observing on, but still a long ways to go. Only 109 of 200 complete here at this one.
So that'll make it what, we're 150-ish, 160 miles in. Like you said, you still got a half this thing to do pretty much. Tire wear's been a thing all night as well. We're going to have to manage going forward.
And yeah, that's something that they've all been managing throughout this whole race is the tire wear. That's the big thing you got to concern about, and really the fall off is crazy around here. You saw in stage 1 the split strategy with Easter Day going down pit road early and being almost 2 seconds faster than the race leader with the older tire set. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, I believe we're going to go caution free. Probably jinx that now, but we're going to go caution free probably most likely to the end of this one. So it's going to be all about that pit road entrance and pit road exit. That's all the name of the game today. And I mean, gotta say, it's better early.
Smooth pit entry, all those things.
Smooth pit entry, and then being almost the first one to your pit box. Because if you think about it, if you go down pit road early, you get those fresh pair of shoes, as we like to call them, and you go back on the racetrack and you set one of those faster lap times than the guys on the older tires, you're still a lap down, but when those guys end up going to pit 3-4 laps later, you've already lost time to the guy there, so the guy that pitted early is going to have a little bit better of an advantage if done correctly.
Well, another word of the day has been attrition, because what we got, like 9 guys left out of the, 16, 17 that started?
Yeah, the field's starting to get really spread out, and yeah, we had 15 that started, and just name of the game has been staying out of trouble and taking unnecessary risk, and that's what you saw with my incident is that there's some unnecessary risks there involved with that one, and it is what it is, but
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, it shocked me it blew your motor.
Yeah, I was really shocked that I tapped the wall that soft. The car looks great. Wish we could be out there still. But yeah, we just tapped the wall or the outside retaining wall head on, and then it expires the engine, and that's about it. And Stacy Hunter there, looks like he went down pit road, got those fresh tires, and now he is rocket shipping away from Dunwoody. Question is that it's way too early, actually.
Yeah, that's way too early, but hey, maybe some sort of weird strategy works.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he pitted on lap 105, and we're only at 114. You can only really make it on 50, 60 laps of fuel. I don't really remember. I wasn't really in as long as the race that I could have been to kind of figure out the fuel strategy. But everybody's really spread out, I think, just kind of ticking some laps off, and Kirby's right there sticking with it. But yeah, it's been the name of the game has been saving tires.
You know what's really weird this week in particular with the situation, the way it played out? These Xfinity guys will end up being the longest race of the week, so that kind of threw them for a curveball.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, unfortunately with the Cup Series we couldn't get the correct number, so we decided to reduce it down to half distance, a little bit more than half distance. Only 200 miles last night. 300 miles tonight. Tomorrow night is, the main show, the Truck Series. We got supposedly 25 guys coming out for that tomorrow night. So, going to be a packed field. We'll see if it's just as entertaining as this Kirby David Dunwoody battle that it has been throughout the night, as Kirby's starting to show right back up on scene of the 28.
Yeah, it doesn't take long for Kirby, does it?
No, not at all. I don't know if Dunwoody's saving more tire now at this point, or if he's starting to fall off. Last time around, Dunwoody had a 33.3, Kirby had a 33.2, so Kirby's just a little bit faster. Kirby's running that second groove right now. Dunwoody's still just painting that blue and white line right now. It's going to be interesting to kind of find out, see if Dunwoody decides to turn up the heat again and pull away again, or which looks like what he's starting to do now. We'll see what kind of happens this time around as they're going to cross the stripe.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Starting to just turn up that wick every little bit, right? You let them come to you, then you pull back away, manage the tire.
And yeah, exactly. That last lap for David Dunwoody, 33.1. So 0.2 quicker than that last lap that we were talking about. Kirby still at 33.2, so he's running those consistent 33.2s, but they still continue to fall off from here. So we'll see if Dunwoody got some more juice in those Goodyear tires, as he's starting to really start to pull away once again, up to 0.6 already once again.
Yeah, well, that time by at the stripe, another 1/10.5 faster. Just starting to eat your way, and that's the thing. It's all about how you care for your shoes, if you will. I know you last night, and me in particular too. I've always had the problem of I have short run speed, but nothing for the long run. That tends to be the issue that I run into.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll brag on my team a little bit. I feel like that's one of the things that Interstellar Esports is really strong about is long run speed. So we've been talking about it. We love these long run races, and as you can see, we got two Interstellar Esports guys up in the top 5, and now 4 Interstellar Alliance teammates up in the top 5. So been a really good show out for that, and we love the long run speed, and we love saving our stuff and that sort of thing, and having it for the end, and that's where our whole team shines out. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens here in about 30-40 laps, or even sooner if once we get the green flag pit stops, where that's going to rearrange guys and that sort of thing.
So green flag stops tonight. Luckily you mentioned it. I think we can get 60 on a tank tonight. We're working
just about
28 of this run, so we're halfway through.
Yeah, just about. And I think with your pitch strategy, you come not super early as soon as you can make it, but maybe make it a 5-10 lap to the good. You don't want to go in too early and then have to burn up your stuff and working with old stuff towards the checkered flag. But you don't want to go in too late for that same reason that we were talking about earlier. Looks like we got a car in the outside retaining wall just a little bit. Investigate who that was. Michael Kirk may be out in the outside retaining wall, back in the back straightaway just a little bit, but he keeps going. But it's finding that fine line. I take it back to Kansas Speedway of the pit strategies there, and you saw those 2 trucks, Mark Murphy and Adam O'Brien.
Right.
They got the big start there by pitting 2 laps, or lap earlier, than myself. But I had that 1 lap fresher tires and got caught right back up to him. So it's a fine line where you try to pit and you're just kind of tossing a coin, seeing what happens.
You mentioned Michael Kirk a while ago. He's not had the best of seasons. He hasn't had the best of luck. Things just haven't really went his way.
No, not so far this season. It's definitely improved than the beginning of the season. He's now showing up in kind of the top 5 in the Cup Series last night. He was running the top 3 for a while. Just that fuel strategy, the entire strategy kind of didn't work out for him. But he's been improving on throughout the whole season. Been really proud of him, really proud of all the other teammates. But Mike, one of our new additions to the 2024 season for Interstellar Esports, and definitely showing that he's been improving on throughout the season. And I think maybe later on this year, and it might even go into next year, where we'll kind of start seeing him be more of a frequent flyer in the top 5, top 10. You just got to get experience running these longer races, and it's a lot different than officials.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the thing. The longer races will be a total different ball game if you transfer over from running officials, like you said, to coming doing something like this.
But yeah, for sure. And I mean, you're talking different things. You're talking stages and that sort of thing. You're running 75% longer races, running these league races, and we run the same exact setup as the iRacing officials do. So, I mean, you get a little bit of an idea of what stage racing is going to be like in officials, but you're really not going to get like the stage 3. You really start seeing where those people with experience shine and come out and run in the top 5 is really in stage 3 with these long green flag runs. But yeah, I mean that's the main thing really with officials and
and I will say this to your point to make your point even better. I run officials every week to try to get an idea of what to talk about when we come out here to do this. The problem is, a lot of times the data that I gather is nowhere reflective to what happens here.
yeah, I mean it goes back to it if the race distance, and we run probably a little bit different of a time. We're running the exact same race time that the real life is doing. So when we're at, say, we'll just take Kansas Speedway again. The Kansas Speedway race officials were at night. They're all at night.
Right.
But when you take a look at the real race, they start at 7:30. That's 1 hour before the sunset goes down. So you still got a little bit of sun to work with that's beating down that racetrack. Maybe not as much as like in the afternoon per se, but during the night or during that kind of transition, the track changes a lot. And their lines different change and that sort of thing. And I mean, we saw that at Kansas. I'm really excited for tomorrow's night's race because tomorrow night's race is going to be kind of the exact same thing. We're going to go start kind of towards in the day, racing our way into the night. The track's going to change a lot, so really don't know. Only officials we've seen only at night, so we're not really sure what's going to really happen in stage 1 and 2 and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you just don't know, right? By far, the truck series is our dominant series.
For sure.
Leaps and bounds.
And that's just, well, I feel like that's part of the reason. Trucks is really popular, I believe, throughout the iRacing community. And it's in season 2 of its action here in AMA. And last year it did not disappoint. This year it has not disappointed yet. We got 3 guys with 2 wins in the series. Other guys have won throughout the series, and really it hasn't disappointed. It's kind of a shame that we don't race it every week. They kind of go on a long stretch here, but we're back off at the Sonoma week, and then I believe there's like a 3-week break for the truck series here coming June. And that's the big kind of thing that kind of stinks about the truck series is the racing's so good, and we have so many people come out for it, and so many people love it. But it's not our most frequent flyer event like our Xfinity and our Cup programs.
Well, as the race is kind of spread apart here, it gives us a really unique opportunity to have years. Steven comes to pit road, so he's going to take the opportunity to put new shoes on. So here we go, a little bit of strategy call. But, here at AMA, everything's always evolving, right?
For sure,
you yourself has put out multiple polls on what you want to do in the future. It's so hard to pick a car that you would actually want to run. That's the hard part.
Yeah, and for sure. And I mean, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to regenerate our Cup Series, get more car numbers, as we say, Colton Easter Day and now Edward Pilot's down to the pit road. So lap 130, mark that in your books. We'll see kind of what happens where they kind of end up. But yeah, for sure. I mean, we try to figure out what our guys want to run. Me and Dunwoody have been in talks of adding another series, kind of a little bit different off schedule of the NASCAR sort of stuff, and going into some maybe the short track or even the dirt community, that sort of thing, because we really want to live up to the name American Motorsports Association. We want to make up to that name.
Right.
And I mean, I'm one of those type of people, and Dunwoody's one of those type of people, and a lot of probably other people are like this. They want to race different things and experience different things than just the NASCAR tree branch. And and we're in talks of improving different things about the league. We're always trying to figure out ways to improve it. That's just the big thing that we do, and we figure out. I mean, we're only in season 2, and hopefully season 3 is just going to be probably even better next year, and making some changes, well-needed changes for next year, and I'm really excited for next year, but we got to get this year done and over with. Not saying this year's not a bad year. It's been a pretty good year. But next year I think is going to be where we really shine is season 3, and got a lot of new guys in here. Got a lot of new guys in the staff area. Kind of rearranging things and getting into where it's going to be a lot better for the whole community, and that's what we are, and that's what I've strived for. That's what I created this league 2 years ago, was to build a community, and that's exactly what it's done so far. As it's made me new friendships, and made probably a lot of other guys friendships, and made new teams and everything. And that's what this league's for, is the community aspect of things, and just a group of guys that love racing, and that sort of deal. So we'll see what season 3 brings us. We'll see what the cards bring us, and hopefully we'll have a stellar season next year.
Well, boy, do I have an announcement that will shock everybody come season 3.
Oh, Snapples.
I don't know which series yet, but I will be getting in a driver's seat of one of the 3.
Well, there you go. We'll be glad to have you on the racetrack, and get some new faces up here in the broadcast booth as well to expand the name out and everything. And like I said, we're really excited to see you on the racetrack, and really excited to see what this race strategy is coming to bring out, as Dunwoody's staying 6 laps out now, as we're hitting 136. And if we remember, Edward and Colton Easterday, as we say that, nope, he's just going to go around one more time. We'll see how long he stays out. It's going to be very interesting.
It is going to be very interesting as we watch Colton right there as well in the 60. You got Steven on the fresh stuff, and everybody else still kind of on the long run situation here. And that's one of the, I'm going to address chat here. That's one of the things, guys. Me and Kendall do not have to talk every day. We pretty much know what each other's thinking without talking. That's the weird part.
Yeah, for sure. And looks like maybe we'll see if Dunwoody's going to come down to pit road. He's on an 8-lap longer run than Kirby is right now, and we just saw Kirby unlap himself. And it's going to be interesting. Kirby's already down to the 32-1, so I don't know if he's saving his stuff or what's going on there. But if you're one of these early pitters, you don't want to burn your stuff up right there and then. You kind of want to save it and savor it, that sort of thing. And we'll see what Kirby does along the stripe here this lap, as he got around Dunwoody to get that lap back. He runs a 31.9. Dunwoody runs a 33.9. So there's 2-second gap between fresh tires and the older tires. We'll see how much longer Dunwoody stays out, and I'm hearing on the radio David Dunwoody and John Hutchins coming down to the safety of pit road to get some 4 fresh Goodyear tires and some Sunoco racing fuel.
Yeah, we're at that stage now where all this different strategy talk is going to play out, right? You got Dunwoody coming. John's
there you see now Dunwoody now.
Yep.
Down pit road. John Hutchins down pit road. James is going to stay out one more lap, a little bit longer. So trying to alternate the strategy for James there.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe Mike also came down pit road. Yep, Mike is coming down pit road as well. So there's 3 more cars that are coming down pit road. We'll see if Harley Day now decides to come down pit road. It does not look like it this time by, as he's going to stay on the racetrack, but James is going to lead his Interstellar Esports 80 years of D-Day car around the racetrack, and he's going to go around one more time as well.
So there is some momentum to electing to stay out, right? There is a little bit of plan to go a lap longer, a lap shorter. All that does kind of play into the factor.
I mean, you go back to the saying that kind of goes around, and I forget who said it first. If you follow the leaders all day, all you're going to do is follow the leaders. And if you stay out one more extra lap, or you stay that extra 5 laps, you got that 5 laps fresher tires going into the run. So just having alternate strategies, you never know which strategy is going to work because every race is different. But we see James now once again going to go around the racetrack one more time. Colton Easterday is going to get his lap back. So that's going to bring 5 back on the lead lap, but we're waiting for 3 guys to come down pit road, as Brian Sharp now running inside the top 2.
Yeah, Brian.
Been really impressed with Brian this round this week. Well, I guess it's his first race for him this week. Running inside the top 5 really all night. He started the season off with bad luck, so maybe this is a turn of the tables for him. Hopefully, as we're kind of really through the midweek of the season, as Harley Day is now down pit road.
So Day down, you got Edward down, so what do we got left? We got what, 2 cars left in James?
Two cars.
Yeah.
2 cars left, and that's James and Brian Sharp right now. They're running 1-2. Now, I'm thinking you're going to have to pit here pretty soon, as staying out's not going to really help the matter. It's just going to put you behind the cars just a little bit more.
Right.
But I mean, it's maybe it works. Maybe we see it work here. Car on the outside retaining wall, as I just heard. So I don't know who that was. I'm gonna see if I can investigate who that was. But nobody sideways, so we'll keep going. But it's gonna be very interesting on how much longer James decides to stay out. As Brian Sharp now down pit road to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
One part of this, we're 55 to go. Theoretically, you should be able to make it.
Yeah, oh yeah, you should be able to make it from here now as you pit.
I mean, tires maybe not so much, but fuel, yes.
Tires, if you save, you should be fine. It's going to be a struggle bus, and maybe that's what James is doing. Maybe that's what he thinks in the back of his head is, if I stay out just a little bit longer, that gives that fresh Goodyear feel for a little bit longer, where I can run the last 50 or so laps as hard as I need to. But he's going to have to think that he needs to come down pit road here soon, because Stephen Kirby right now is 16 seconds behind him now. If he gets the lead from him while he's on the racetrack, that's going to be spell bad news for James. It's going to put him a lap down. It's going to put him behind the curve. As Brian now, he's off and safely off pit road as he cycles back down to 7th on the racetrack. Oh yeah, and it's about how hard you bring it down pit road. And I mean, we saw, I don't know if Denny Hamlin's doing it this year, I'm sure he is, but last year Denny Hamlin talked about he wants to improve on getting down into pit road and getting all that he can get down pit road. We saw last year in the Real Cup Series for Denny Hamlin, that did not work out so much for him. He got speeding on pit road, that sort of thing. So it just depends on how comfortable these drivers are, of how hard they want to get down to pit road, how hard they want to get into their box, and if they don't want to slide through their box, that sort of thing. And really, it's the statement of, if a race can be won down pit road, is very true. It can be win or lost down on pit road. It depends on how you get in that box, how hard you get in down pit road. That all calculates up and translates to seconds on the racetrack.
And we're seeing it play out right now, right? I mean, Steven pitted, 7 laps earlier than Dunwoody? And he's got a decent little, let's see, so Steven's got 17 laps on his. Dunwoody's got 7, so it was a 10-lap difference.
10-lap difference.
Yeah.
And we'll see this time around, there's a 10-second lead to Kirby right now. But what I'm seeing right now, Kirby's last lap time was a 32.9. Dunwoody's was a 32.0. So almost a full second faster for Dunwoody. So we'll see how that translates on the racetrack later on. And I mean, I didn't really get a chance to go super long run, as James Hodgins now claiming now he's going down pit road. But it's going to see how this kind of translates. I don't know with long run speed if they kind of flatten out. I know I've been doing some practice with the truck series. They really just sort of flatten out after 10, 15 laps or whatever into a run. They just kind of stay stagnant. I don't think it's the case with these Xfinity cars. As Dunwoody now just still 10 seconds out. That last lap was a 32.2. Stephen Kirby was a 33.0. So again, almost 0.8 quicker for Dunwoody. So it'll be interesting, kind of what happens there, as James now down pit road, getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires and some Sunoco racing fuel on that machine.
4 Mr. Feelgoods here tonight as Steven continues to lead. I'll tell you, it's going to be very interesting. You talked about that gap closing down to 8.5, and will it even out before he gets there?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has time for it. 50 laps to go here in the Salute to Service 300, as Kirby now going to cycle for the race lead now. But it's going to be interesting to see where Hodgins kind of figures his way throughout this. Looks like he might be able to stay on the lead lap here, as he might have got in front. He is in front of Kirby, so Hodgins will stay on the lead lap. That's going to put him down to, looks like, 6th and right behind Edward Fields. So we'll see how that kind of figure out. James is going to have a lot fresher tires and almost 2 seconds quicker than that Edward that pitted about 10 laps prior to Dunwoody. But that race lead is closing again, once again, 8 seconds now to Kirby from Dunwoody. And if John's, I wouldn't count John out either, 10 seconds behind the race lead right now. We'll see flash by the screen, 9 seconds now to him, and 2 seconds to Dunwoody. So it's going to be a very interesting race. A lot of alternating strategies throughout this one. We'll see how it all pans out here in about 50 laps.
Yeah, we're down to it, man. We're down to figuring all this out. And we've seen this all year. Great racing, tire strategy. It's been all over the place this year.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had those races where we have green-white checkers. We had those races that we go caution. We'll have a ton of cautions. We have those races that we go green flag all the way, and that's what we love, is the variety of things, and no race is the same. And that's what we love to race in, and you never know what's going to happen. As I'm really interested now to see how James's run's going to go here, as he's still in the lead lap in 5th and running away from Edward. So we'll see how that one pans out. But yeah, throughout the year, it's been pretty crazy to watch and pretty crazy to see all the alternating strategies throughout this one.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to go throughout the rest of the year, right? Hard to believe we've still got a long way to go this season. Just like we've got, 45 left in Charlotte. And that gap now is 6.6. Or, excuse me, 6.0 now. So that's dropping rapidly.
That race lead is shrinking and shrinking quick. You got to be thinking in Kirby's mind, I hope I can run away, or I hope there's a caution here soon to get some fresh tires, equal everyone out. He flashes across the start-finish line now to 33.4. We'll see what Dunwoody does as he flashes by the start-finish line at a 32.7. So way quicker lap times for Dunwoody. 5 seconds just remain for him in between him and Kirby. And you got to think, is Dunwoody running his heart out right now? Is he burning his stuff up trying to catch Kirby, or is he kind of saving some juice for the end of it? And again, John's right there again. Hasn't really let Dunwoody go. He's actually kind of gained a little bit on Dunwoody, but it's been a stable 2 second gap between him and Dunwoody, so we'll see how this one all pans out. As we like to say, it's one story to get to the guy, but the next story to pass the guy, but I don't think that's going to be much of a factor this race as it would be, say, a short track or something like that.
Yeah, you got to have enough tire left to get around him, right? You got to...
And not only get around him, it's to get it to the end of the race.
Right.
Is the major thing, and you got to think, is Kirby having this comfortable lead, is he's saving his stuff up a little bit for the end. Kind of what we've seen all night. He's been running that race car real hard to try to get the race lead. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's saving his stuff up or if he's trying to run away with it. As Dunwoody closes again, 4.6 to the race lead now, as he only has one car in between him and the leader.
Yeah, and that is one thing, as you close, right, you do have to manage traffic a little bit as he starts to get closer and closer.
Yeah, you have the lap traffic of the 22 of Edward in between him and Kirby. Kirby's about to catch another lap car of Brian Sharp. He's running 6th right now, but Brian probably has a little bit fresher tires than Kirby, so I don't know if he'll be much of a factor in the lap traffic sort of field of area. But we're not seeing that close as drastic for Dunwoody. 4.2 now to him. His lap time of 33.0 as Kirby's 33.4. So it's not that major of a gap. And now we're talking 4/10. Earlier we were talking about 1 second each lap. So it's going to be interesting in seeing if that tire fall off is going to be a problem for Dunwoody.
That delta gap between the two is slowly starting to close, right?
Yeah, the delta between the two lap times are really starting to close. And John right behind him ran a 33.1, so just a little bit tad slower than Dunwoody. But there again, maybe John's trying to back off a little bit, save a little bit of his stuff for maybe a battle coming up here soon. And I mean, once they get side by side, it's going to give John an opportunity to close that 2-second gap even quicker and maybe be unseen for the race lead. I mean, Kirby's looking for his first career victory in the AMA series. Dunwoody's looking to get into victory lane for the first time this season. That's been one of our major things that we've circled, is Dunwoody has not been to victory lane at all this year in all 3 series. And then that's another thing that we've circled with John. John's been consistent. Last year he was all consistent. This year he's been consistent. It's been carrying over this season, but yet a 0 in that win column. Do we see him get up to shake it up here with Dunwoody here in the closing laps of this one, as what we got 20 to go, well not 20, 40 to go
40 to go
on this one.
There's some guys up there that could use a win for sure, right? I mean, you got Dunwoody, that big storyline. You've got John there, and Kirby trying to hang on. I mean, you got so much to look at here.
Oh yeah, there's storylines all over this racetrack, and I mean, we go down the order. Colton Easterday, he's back here in racing today. He's running 4th right now, so not a bad run for him. James hasn't been to victory lane this year. He got the win back at Coda last year in the Truck Series. And then we talked about Brian earlier. He's had that struggle throughout this season. Had a good finish back at Daytona for the Xfinity Series, but not so much later on in the season. Wow. But as we're kind of getting to the midway point of the season, we're starting to see those tables turn for him, as he's running 6th right now. Edward, he's one of our newer guys in the race in the league. He's running 7th right now. Michael Kirk, like we talked about earlier, he hasn't had the 100% the greatest season, but he's also a rookie in the league, competing in all 3 series, learning as much as he can, and I mean, he's doing pretty well right now, running 8th. But yeah, there's storylines all over the racetrack, as Dunwoody now has closed the lead down to 2.2 seconds, and it's just right, Kirby, just right in his front windshield.
Well, he has closed it completely down, and now you can clearly see Kirby up in front. Now you've got that bone to go chase, right? You can see him now, it's just go get it.
Exactly, and I mean, there's the lap times are starting to kind of slow off a little bit. He's running, that last lap was a 33.1 to Kirby's 33.4, so only a matter of 0.3 now, the difference. John's right in that same boat. He basically ran that exact same lap time as Dunwoody that lap prior. We'll see when they flash across the start-finish line this time, see what their difference of their lap times is. As Kirby comes across the straight, he's a consistent 33.4. And then Dunwoody ran the exact same lap time there. John 0.2 quicker that lap than Dunwoody and Kirby. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think I'll take a look at Kirby's lap times to kind of see.
Yeah.
As it looks like Kirby may have been saving a little bit of his stuff, as he was earlier in the 33.6s. Now he's in the 33.4s. But Kirby now going down to the pit road.
Kirby down pit road. That I did not see that coming.
I did not have that in the bingo cards, and I'm wondering if he could not make it on fuel. That is the question that I'm wondering. That's going to be an interesting storyline. Now, David Dunwoody is going to inherit the race lead, and I'm pretty sure he's good on racing, on Sunoco racing fuel. I'm pretty sure John's good on Sunoco racing fuel. So an interesting.
Maybe didn't get in the fuel tank full, or.
And that's one of the major things that. The big thing that me and my teammates have been focused on, we always remind each other, is you have that new margin laps counter. And I know it says that you have 1 lap margin.
Right.
Really, when you go out there on the racetrack and burn that fuel, you're burning a little bit more. When you're running a little bit harder, that 1 lap margin shrinks down and goes away right there and then. So you got to increase that margin lap to wherever you like. I'm superstitious. I run it all the way up to 10 each time. And... Yep. That's one thing that you got to kind of be cautious of, and it's going to be really interesting now to see Kirby, now with a fresh pair of shoes, a full tank of Sunoco racing fuel. Now we know he can make it to the end. It's going to be interesting if he can make it around. He's 1 lap down now to Dunwoody, and Dunwoody's entering the turn 2 complex as Kirby is just now in turn number 1. So he'll be able to get his lap back, but I don't think he'll have enough time to get to Dunwoody.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them things where unless he gets a yellow flag, I think he is pretty much his chances of winning this one going to go out the window here.
Yeah, and pretty much we'll see around I mean, it takes a couple laps for these tires to warm back up to their ultimate temperatures to run those quick times, qualifying times that we saw earlier. But Dunwoody right now running 33.5s. John running a tenth quicker right now at a 33.4. So we'll see how that one shapes out. The lead for Dunwoody is kind of shrinking, but it's not as dramatic. As now we see James cycle back up to third, Brian cycle up to fourth, and Kirby now in fifth, one lap down with those fresh pair of tires. So we'll see how that all shapes out for him here, in 30 laps, as we're coming to 30 laps to go.
30 to go here tonight, man. We're down to it. Man, it's so fun to watch these guys work.
Yeah, and the alternating strategies, now you see Kirby going to go past John Hutchins now, and he just blew John out of the water like he was thin and still. So fresh tires are definitely the name of the game, but two stop in stage number 3, it's going to be an interesting one. And I mean, also, if a caution does come out, the unlikely event that a caution does come out, what does Kirby do? Does Kirby stay out on the racetrack for that race position, or does he go back down? I believe he has one extra set of tires down there, laying on the Goodyear on the wall. So does he go down and get those? It's going to be all questions here, and it's going to be an interesting thing to kind of see. Now, also, the other question to kind of think to yourself now is Edward now good on racing fuel? Because we remember he pitted earlier just right with Kirby. Same with Colton Easterday. Is he good on racing Sunoco racing fuel? Same boat as Kirby now. So if you can't make it on racing fuel, we'll see what happens with Colton Easterday.
I will say Edward came back down 2 laps ago. So
Edward did come back down. Okay, so maybe they pitted way too early for that. So something you got to think about. And I mean, me personally, I don't come into with a definite pit strategy, but something to keep in mind is how much you can run on lap time or fuel. As right now, we got a little bit of a story kind of building up here. John Hutchins right now closing the gap down on David Dunwoody.
So now what do you do, right? I mean, if this goes green, it's pretty set, but if it does not, this 2-car battle is going to become 5 or 6.
And like we say, when the yellow lights come on, throw your strategy books right out the window, because it doesn't mean nothing now. As most likely at this point in the stage of the race, I definitely know for sure most of everybody's going to come down pit road to get fresh tires. Either that's going to be 2 or that's going to be 4. It's going to be anybody's game at that point, but right now it's in the hands of David Dunwoody and John Hutchins. John Hutchins now, again, takes off 2/10. He's 2/10 quicker than David Dunwoody right now. You guys got to think, is Dunwoody kind of playing with him right now? Is he kind of backing off, saving those Goodyear tires? It's a really, when you really start thinking about it, racing is just a mind game. Can I save better, or can I kind of fool the guy behind me? I'm doing what I'm doing, that sort of thing. So it's going to be a really interesting story to watch out. James Hutchins, we remember, he stayed out a good 8 laps or so. So he's running 33.3s right now to Dunwoody's 33.5s. So does James have enough time to get up to the race lead? As I don't see it right now, as he ran running 10.3 his last lap ago. He was 10.5 out. So he's not closing in rapidly like Dunwoody was earlier. But it's something to keep in mind for there as well. And then Kirby as well. Kirby's on those fresh Goodyear tires. He's probably on around 10 lap old tires. So he's coming quick, 25 seconds out to the race lead. So it's going to be a very interesting storyline. It doesn't look like fun battle, real racy race right now, but it could change all in a split second.
Any moment, right?
Any moment that yellow flag can come out, any moment, one of these storylines we're kind of keeping an eye out on. And I mean, Dunwoody and Hutchins, they pitted on right around the same lap. They did pit on the same lap, so they have the same stuff. It's just a matter of who's better on the older tires and who saved their tires, as John now starting to kind of lose tap of Dunwoody now. He lost 2/10. But James, he pitted 10 laps later. He now 9.8 out to David Dunwoody. Kirby now, he's not closing in as fast as Dunwoody did earlier. He's 24 seconds now. He put 2 seconds more down on that. So does he have enough time? And again, we got to keep in mind that tire fall off, how fast that kind of cliffhanger is, kind of sort of deal later in the racing run with the tires.
Exactly, and was 178. That tire cliffed. Man, I think that cliff's getting closer, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now Dunwoody and Hutchins right now probably on the older set of tires out there on the racetrack right now, on the oldest set, as they pitted at lap 140. James on 10-lap fresher tires. He pitted on 150. And then, of course, Kirby pitted on, I believe, 166. Yeah, he pitted on 166. It's going to be very interesting for Kirby if he can catch up to him. Brian pitted on lap 144. He's 30 seconds out to the race lead and losing right now. But again, a lot of storylines to kind of watch and see as John now, once again, as I look away from him, he's starting to catch up to the race leader once again, 1.5 to the race lead.
At 1.5 and holding steady right now. 80 on the board. It's Dunwoody, John, James, Stephen, Brian there as well. So now with 20 to go, it is getting down to go time here in Charlotte. What do you think, Kendall? You think we're going to have a yellow before this thing's over?
He spins it off turn number 2 or turn number 4. I don't think so. We're all spread out enough. Maybe if somebody takes some unnecessary risk or something, if one of those guys with fresher tires runs over the guy in front of him, that's really the only reason why you're going to have a caution flag on the racetrack, is for one of those reasons. And right now we're all really pretty spread out around the racing surface. I don't think we'll see a yellow flag, but that doesn't mean that we won't have a yellow flag before the end of this one.
As we're down to 20 to go tonight, coming to the end of this one for the Road Energy Xfinity Series. Dunwoody, John, James, here comes Steven there as well. Back 17 seconds, but that gap between first and second, now 1.6. Last time by pretty much identical lap times.
Yeah, pretty much identical lap times this time around, and it seems like John gets just a little bit better every once in a while, cuts it down 2/10 or whatever, and then it kind of stalls there for 2 laps. So I don't know if that's something that Dunwoody's doing or if that's something John's doing. I'm not quite sure right now. But John looks like he's running probably a half a lane higher than David Dunwoody is doing. So that gives a little bit of run to John, but John's taking a little bit longer way around the racetrack. As I'm kind of watching now, John doesn't get as early down into the white line as Dunwoody does. Dunwoody's riding that blue line around the racetrack, and that's something that we were talking about earlier, is that there's a little bit of grip down there towards the lower half of the racetrack. The high line we've never really seen come into play here for the Xfinity cars, as we did see as last night. But like with last night, we saw the high line chew tires to heck when you ran the top line for 5-10 laps. So we haven't really seen that play out here. As we're running a little bit more in the afternoon, we're at probably 3 o'clock right now, sim time. So last night we ran at 3 o'clock was start time, so we're starting to see kind of that conditions return from last night. But also the sun has come out. It's heated up that racetrack a little bit. It's getting a little bit more greasier and hotter out there on the racing surface. So
it'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we still haven't seen the high line come into effect, but I mean, now I'm starting to look at these lap times right now. I'm starting to circle some names right now. James Hutchins, he's now whittled down the race lead from third to 7.8 seconds. But does he have enough with 15 to go? He's going to have to basically almost give a second, almost close up to a second a lap on Dunwoody to have a chance for the race lead. But again, you still got to work that racing traffic and all that lap traffic as well. It's going to be interesting to kind of find out as John's starting to kind of lose tap now on the race lead for Dunwoody, as it's now back down to 1.8 Again, James, that lap now 7.7, so that's starting to drop off and starting to look towards the wayside. Stephen Kirby now 14 seconds out. I don't think he has enough time to get up to the race leader or David Dunwoody. As long as something else doesn't really happen, I'm not going to try to jinx it. I'm not going to say it yet. But right now, Dunwoody's the odds for David Dunwoody are pretty high right now of winning this race as we're coming down almost to 10 laps to go.
So with 14 to go here, last time by 34.0 to a 33.7. That time in favor of John. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes back and forth here in the coming laps.
And that lap traffic of Stacy Hunter, I believe. Yeah, that's Stacy Hunter. I believe that's given the draft to John a little bit, so maybe that's going to help him get up to the race lead once again and maybe have a fighting chance. But it's all about how you manage your stuff, and really, I mean, we've been seeing the right front and the right rear almost been the same on tire wear. So it just kind of matters, and it seems like turn 2 wears out your right rear, turn 4 wears out your right front. That's at least what was happening for me. But we'll kind of see how these guys have managed their stuff as John, once again, starting to reel in the race leader once again, as down to 1 second now. So we'll kind of watch and see that. James is starting to come into the picture. He's 5.7 seconds out. So it's going to be very interesting.
John just about lost the car off of 4. The back of the car stepped out just a little bit, but he grabbed it. Wow.
And now that brings the question of now those rear tires have heated up. So he's got to sit there and focus on, got to cool those tires right back down to get some more grip and try to go back at it. We'll kind of see how that kind of plans out for him. Didn't really lose the lead for Say. I would say it's going to be just about the same here. Yeah. Across the start-finish line, 1.3 to him now again. Now down to 1.2, so John's starting to reel David Dunwoody back in just a little bit. But 10 laps to go. We also got James coming in quick. He's running right now 33.5s to David Dunwoody's 33.9s. So does James have enough time? Does Kirby have enough time? We'll all have to sit here and find out we got 9 laps to go here in the Sweet Service 300.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, coming to it. Right now, 9/10. I hate to say this, but it is tightening up front. The ratchet strap is getting tighter, buddy.
Yeah, the battle for the race lead right now is starting to heat up, and it's starting to heat up really hot now. John looks like he's way better on entry, 0.6 seconds now to the race lead. So we're going to have a race. Like we say, with these guys being on the same tire strategy, it's one story of getting to the guy. There's another story trying to get around the guy, and we haven't really seen the top line come to play. So it's going to be something that John's going to have to figure out when he gets to David Dunwoody, and it's going to be something really interesting. Now, we'll see Flash across the strike. 8.8 to him now. So John really starting to close in the gap and starting to reel in David Dunwoody.
Oh, boy. David's got to be biting his fingernails right now. So close to the first win of the year, but he has got a big 0.72, almost there.
Yeah, he got John Hutchins, and he is hungry for a race win here in the AMA series. He's been racing with us for almost about a year now. So he's hungry for his first win of his career in the AMA series. Now guess what? Down to half a second race lead right now for David Dunwoody. The battle for the lead is heating up. And we're, 7 laps remaining? So it's going to be a good one here at the end of this one.
Yep, right now it's 7.5 to go, coming to 7. Oh boy, this is going to be big.
I mean, for me, who do I cheer for? Who do I root for? I got David Dunwoody, that got my Storm Chasing brand represented on the race car up front, SKP Storm Tracker 78. But you got the Interstellar teammate of myself right behind him trying to get his first win. So this is going to be something, a nail biter for me personally, as seeing 2 real good racers battle it out, as now John is knocking on the back door of David Dunwoody.
Kendall up here gonna have to break out the bikini and pom-poms here in a minute, because I think his teammate is right on him.
Yeah, he's knocking at that door, and he's made himself clear on that mirror. Looks like he might have got a little bit tight off the exit of the racetrack, and something that John has to do, he has to find that fresh, clean air. Because once you get behind the race car here, you get in that dirty air, it makes that car super tight. As we saw last year in the truck race for myself, I got real tight behind a guy, put myself in the outside retaining wall, took my chances away that time. But John is so much better in 1 and 2, 0.2 seconds now. As we talked about, he's getting into that fresh air. He's running a half a groove higher than David Dunwoody right now. He's put that lead down to 0.2, and we'll see. May get a loose off turn 4 again.
That may have cost him. He lost a little bit of ground. Second time, that time much worse than the time before.
And I think that's something that you got to learn when you're running second, is don't let that lead get to your head. Don't let that leader get to your head of, I need to run harder. That's when mistakes happen, and that's what we just saw there. As he reeled him in, he was trying to get that run. He has to regroup, got to get those tires cooled back off, and he's got to reel back in, but I don't know if he has enough time for this one.
I don't think so, but if I'm David Dunwoody's spotter right now, I'm yelling at him to get off that blue line. Right? Don't get the car down there and get it free. Right, you've got to
you definitely don't want to. You don't want a mistake now for Dunwoody, because a mistake now is going to put it right into John's lap, and John's right now closing right back in on David Dunwoody. James right now 2.4 seconds behind. Even Kirby's kind of fell off his lap times and hasn't really shown much. I mean, he's closing on James, but not as drastically as earlier. But John right now kind of staying steady at 0.8 seconds.
Three laps to go in Charlotte. That time by 30-0 or 33.9 to 34.0 for David. That's a tenth faster, not enough. David's just got to not make a mistake here. That's literally what he's got to do to hold the gap.
Yeah, Dunwoody has fresh, clean racing track in front of him, one lap car ahead of him. So really not a good sign for John. David Dunwoody just has to wheel around this racetrack 2 more times, and he should have the race victory, and he has to hope for no caution here. But everyone's pretty well spread out, but we saw earlier John got loose. That could happen to anybody else. Bring out the caution, spinning him off. Somebody spinning off. But we see kind of John's lap time starting to fall off. 34.1, so those tires are definitely, at least the rear tires are definitely cooked for John. But David Dunwoody right now has one more time around here at the round of the racetrack.
Here we go, coming to the white flag. David wants to see the white so bad, and he will. Out of turn number 4, David Dunwoody receives the white flag. And Kendall, if he can just manipulate this car through a couple of more corners, he's going to go to victory lane.
Yeah, he just got to keep it nice and clean in turn 3 and 4, and he'll have this race victory. I know this is going to mean a lot to him. It's going to be his first win in the 2024 season. His last win was back in the Truck Series at Las Vegas. That got his ticket into the playoffs. He's going to punch his ticket to the playoffs here in the Rogue Energy Series here in AMA. David Dunwoody going to bring that Ford SKP Storm Tracker 78 Boiler Dog Coffee combo to victory lane here at Charlotte.
There you go, David. Wow. How about that? Welcome to your ticket, bud.
That is a ticket to the playoffs. That's going to want to stress off of him there now. Punching that ticket to the playoffs, getting his first career victory in the Rogue Energy Series. His first career, first victory of 2024. So I know that's going to mean a lot to him. As really been dominant all race, dominant all day. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, and now showing fastest on the racetrack, and good strategy for him. But again, huge congrats to Dunwoody. I know this one's going to mean a lot to him.
Yeah, this is going to be big. He's going to come down here and burn it down on the front straightaway for us. You can't take away anything from John there. John fought hard. At the end of the day, I think the rear tires just went away.
Yeah, he heated those rear tires up, and he did a fabulous job running him down. Remember, 2 seconds was the gap between him and Dunwoody after those pit cycles. He ran him down. He ran him down hard. He gave Dunwoody a run for his money. Definitely something something notable for John, and nothing to take, like you said, nothing to take away from John. And I mean, we'll see next year probably here at Charlotte. John going to be another one that's going to be up there in the top 5 again next year, and maybe has a chance for a win next year. And again, improvements from John throughout the year, and really good finish for him on second.
There you go. Well, there you have it. Let's get ready to talk to John or to David here, because you know he's going to be through the roof excited.
He's going to be really excited.
Man, what a year that Black. Just think about it. I mean, Black Magic's had a heck of a year on and off the racetrack, and finally, after all the work, we know he was stressed, right? We know he was,
yeah.
And it kind of just went his way finally. Let's talk to him. Well, if it'll bring old Dunwoody, David Dunwoody, you got a copy, buddy.
What's up, Matt?
You got it, buddy.
Finally.
It's about time.
Right?
Well, talk to me, man. You had John bearing down on you late, and I just kept saying, get off the blue line, because you were making me nervous going down there, man. I was afraid you was going to get that car loose.
It was getting loose almost every lap. It didn't matter where it ran. John was down there. We were on the same strategy. We both decided to pit once. Once was enough, and we made sure we had enough fuel before we pitted. But if I went up top, it was too tight. I would have hit the fence.
Man, that's crazy, man. Did the tires kind of just fall off a cliff on you?
Oh, they didn't really go off a cliff. I was doing a pretty good job of saving them right around that blue line.
All right, so that top just never came in for you, did it?
No, the top never got the rubber to run up there. I tried it a couple times in stage 1, racing Kirby, and there was just nothing up there.
Well, you made the right call. You stayed to the bottom, and that's going to get you into the playoffs and your first win of the season, man.
I'm so excited.
Man,
it's a little hollow not having Kyle Heath, but
yeah,
I'll take it either way.
Go ahead, kid.
Yeah, speaking of that first win of 2024, me and Matt were talking about it earlier. You haven't got a win since the 2023 season back in Las Vegas. What does this win mean to you coming into the Rogue Energy Series, getting your first career win in the Rogue Energy Series, first win of 2024? What does this win mean to you, and what does that mean to your momentum here later on?
It's huge. It's so confidence inspiring. Like getting wrecked the last 3 weeks in a row, it's just been frustrating. And then to jump in here and run a car that I don't feel like I'm that experienced in and win a race. I mean, it was great racing with everybody.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, great racing at all. And I mean, we saw John there trying to catch up to you. Were you trying to save kind of some stuff for the battle between John and you, or were you kind of running it out, trying to run away from John?
I knew John was coming. I knew James was coming, but we were ultimately waiting for Kirby to come back around us all. And I kind of started backing up to John to see if he was going to have anything, and then he got loose out of 4.
Well, good to see you into victory lane finally here in 2024. Good to see that SK Feeds Foreign Tracker 78 into victory lane once again. That's number 2 for it. And we talked about the new race, or the new logo, bringing some luck to you in the 28.
It was definitely a lot of luck. I'm glad you let us do the design work on it over at Black Magic Studios.
I got a question for you before we talk to John, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're that close like John was, how does that play on you? I mean, he was so close, man.
Yeah, he was so close, and it does mess with you a little bit. And I've been in those, we saw last year in the truck series, I've been in those positions a lot of times of running in second, and you wonder yourself, what could I have done differently that next time to get that win? And it does mess with you a little bit, getting second and being that so close.
There we go. Let's talk to him. All right, John, Matt, and Kendall in the booth. You got a copy, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Copy.
All right. Well, you put up a valiant effort. Unfortunately, you ended up in a situation where the rear tires just went away.
Just didn't have it at the end, man. I put a little. I was catching him there at the end, about 4 to go, and coming off of 4, got loose, and I was here for a good points night. Needed a good points night, so I just backed off and took what the track gave me. That's what I said at the beginning of the night I was going to do, and that's what we done.
Well, you did just that.
You get that amazing race invocation at the start of the race. Now topping it off with a second place finish. What does that kind of second place finish mean, and what kind of momentum does that bring to your 72 Ford F-150? Well, Ford
Well,
Mustang, as I should
yeah,
say.
I want to. It's a big boost. We started the season off a little rough. Had a few setbacks, but last few races been climbing back up through the standings. So it's just a big momentum builder. I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, amazing run for you for second, and congrats on your second place finish.
Thank you.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you, Matt.
Man, so close, but yet he's gonna get one. We'll talk to his teammate here. He's got to get one eventually. Well, guess who it is? It's old James in the top 3 again.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm absolutely chuffed to bits, mate. After last night and getting pipped for, well, second and ended up in fourth, that was great. I really, really enjoyed that race. A lot of fun.
Well, there you go, man. Yeah, again, top 3 finish. Just keep knocking them down.
Yeah, that's second one this year, I think. So I just want to keep up some momentum, I think, and it's nice being on the podium. It was a lot of fun in the race, so see if we can continue as we progress for the latter half of the season.
There we go. Well,
Yeah, you finished in the. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Yeah, you finished in the third place position, and we saw you stay out 10 laps later than Dunwoody did and John did. Do you think if you had 10, 20 more laps more, if you had more in that 88 Ford Mustang, do you think you could have caught them, or do you think your tires kind of fell off and just kind of plateaued?
It's a really interesting point, because I was more concentrating on Stephen Kirby and how far he was behind him and how much he was closing each lap. And it wasn't until the last probably 10 laps that I looked and went, oh, there's David and John in front of me. So I think I was probably being semi-conservative, just trying to conserve the tires, knowing that Stephen Kirby had newer tires.
Right.
But yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Perhaps if I'd have come in 5-10 laps earlier, I would have caught them. But if there had been another 5-10 laps on the race, I reckon I'd have caught them. But either way, you live and you learn, just
Exactly.
like last night.
Exactly. Well, congrats on your third place finish. I know that's going to bring a lot of momentum to your season. And I mean, I kind of got to speak as a team owner part. I mean, 2 guys in the top 3 really means a lot to all of us, and getting that momentum forward for us. So congrats on your top 3, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
We'll
thanks.
see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, see you tomorrow night. And again, appreciate being a part of this Interstellar Esports team. It's great fun. We got some great colleagues, and congratulations to John. Great finish for Mike as well. And sorry your race didn't end the way you wanted it, Kendall. But
Hey,
tomorrow night.
It happens, and like you said, tomorrow night. There's always tomorrow night. You got to reset your head. You go into tomorrow night with a fresh mind, and honestly, you did that with your mistake last night. You reset. You got to third place.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's do it again. Let's put 4 or 5 guys in the top. Let's lock out the top 5 tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, buddy.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. Catch you tomorrow.
Alrighty. Well, that's going to do it here tonight. I'm actually going to hang out with Kendall for just one moment before I let him go to his group. And I guess we'll be right back tomorrow night with trucks, buddy.
Yeah, tomorrow night we saw kind of